My name is Scot Scher, and I'm one of the directors of Assisted Recovery in Rhode Island. And what we do is we are specialists in Suboxone maintenance. Suboxone is a drug that helps detox people who are opiate addicts and maintain them, gets them within 24 hours to detox them from opiates and maintains them with no pain and no cravings on a long-term basis. We have 6 doctors, we have 5 psychiatrists who are specialists in addiction medicine, and we have probably one of the largest clinics in the country who do what we do. And we do it very well because we care extremely about people's health and welfare. And we always have a saying that says you can't pay somebody enough to care about you. And in the healthcare industry, that's very rare. We see hundreds of people and from all walks of life. And the one thing about addiction is that it does not discriminate along success lines or class lines. It affects everyone. There's thousands and hundreds of thousands of addicts out there who don't know they're addicts. And doctors readily prescribe opiate medication as if they're chiclets. And it's not commonly known, and doctors don't even understand the concept between addiction and dependence, is that there is no distinction between when somebody's addicted and somebody is opiate dependent. Because when I made this statement saying if you want to know if you're an addict, just stop taking the pills for 2 to 3 days and you'll find out. The public does not want to think about that idea. There's a genetic predisposition that creates an addiction. And I gave you a demonstration before, and I'll tell you about that again, where I had 2 daughters. And one daughter went to the dentist and had a wisdom tooth out. And she came home and we gave her a Vicodin. She got sick, she went up to bed, passed out, and the next morning she was fine, took a Tylenol. I had my other daughter, who was 16 years old, who didn't know one pill from another, a Tylenol from a OxyContin. And we gave her a Vicodin when she got her wisdom tooth out, and within 20 minutes she had a reaction that was like looking at the stars and saying, "This is unbelievable. How do I get these things?" And that's a true reaction, in that somebody who has a genetic predisposition towards addiction gets high when they take an opiate. Somebody who doesn't have that gene doesn't get high. But anybody on a prolonged basis between 3 to 4 weeks of taking opiates will become dependent. And there is no difference from dependence and addiction. People think an addict to them is a heroin addict. And the reality is that all opiates are the same. Heroin is just a more direct delivery. And the reason that most people go off prescription medication is that it's too expensive. Now, one of these pills that they're snorting, and we can get somebody in here that's doing 2 to 3 a day, go for about $70 to $80 a piece on the street. And this is the kind of habit they have per day. So when somebody introduces them to heroin, and they can do it for a quarter of the cost, it just becomes a cost-effective measure. It doesn't mean any more about their intensity as an addict. So seeing this, one of our psychiatrists and the director of the program, named Pamela Scher, and Dr. Kevin Bale, and I created a system called Trust Your Team. And what it is we realized that we had to catch people at a more early intervention and teach parents how to proactively be able to talk to their kids and establish trust with their kids through verification. What we have to do is we have to teach our kids at a very early age that it's a life decisions. It's not about whether they use or not. It's about establishing trust. And what we do with this book in methodology is we introduce the urine test screen as a deterrent. And we establish trust in the home by having the urine test screen initially as a deterrent. And with the kid knowing that the parents have the ability to test, just knowing that they can is a deterrent enough, because it now shows that mom and dad aren't as stupid, because mom and dad have no way to know whether their kid coming home from the cinema has used opiates or has snorted cocaine. It's not like they walk in the door and they smell of alcohol. There's no way to know. And the only way parents are able to deal with this is when they find out their kid is addicted, and then they're in a panic. So we felt the best time to hit this up was in that 10 to 12-year-old range, where they learn that in life there's consequences for your actions, and trust is not something that's given, it's earned. I had a urine test cup at home that can be bought at any pharmacy, and I used to keep it on the dinner table. I used to move it to the counter. If we were going out in the car, I'd bring it with me in the car, and we'd all laugh. But what it did is it gave a subliminal message that this is here, and our trust, the truth is in the bottle. And I never had to use that urine test screen. But as Pam says, it's like a fire extinguisher. You have it in your home, you hope you never have to use it. But if you do, you know it's there. I think there's a statistic that says 33% of children, by the time they reach 12 years old, have tried an illegal substance. We don't advocate the consistent testing. We advocate the understanding and the talking and establishing an open line of communication, of trust. And that the fact that the child knows that you care enough to talk to them and to be open. When they're posed with the test being there, they will tend to be much more open and free-flowing about their attitudes and their propensity towards trying drugs. Let's fast forward to, say, a 16-year-old who's doing drugs. The conversation's different. The conversation then becomes one of life choices. Prescription medication is the most commonly abused of all the drugs. And Rhode Island, interestingly enough, leads the country in states of abusing prescription medication. The smallest state in the country has the largest drug problem. We have hundreds and hundreds of people in our clinic that we're treating for opiates. We are the experts. We know exactly how to handle this problem. And a piece at a time. One thing I got to tell you from our experience in having this product out, and you can visit trustyourteen.com, because we have over 70 videos up there which demonstrate how to talk to your kid. Dr. Bale says hope is not a strategy. You got to take it head on and confront it in a kind, loving, and trustful way, remembering that you establish trust. You earn and develop trust. You don't take it for granted. They read the book, and maybe they'll learn the tools. It's in the book. They get over the fear. They have to, for the safety of their kids.